Maybe he should get on the Jewish diet. Because the kosher meals is way better than the food somebody else is making for you. At least they're going to come hot. They're going to come sealed, and you got to be the one to open them.
Okay, Larry, spill the tea. What are you hearing about Diddy's eating?
Well, I got an inside source there at MDC, and if they knew who it was, they'd really plots. When people go into custody, they have anxiety, they're depressed, a lot of things go through their mind. And one of the things they do is they stop eating. Look what happened to Jeff Epstein. I got people every day saying, you think they're going to Epstein him? And I go, well, I really don't know. Imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to actually poison his food, give him a heart attack, and he dies. And no one would really think anything of it. So that may be one of the reasons he's not eating. There's a possibility that he wants to go on a kosher diet. It's prepared a little bit differently. It's a religious diet.
Y'all, this tea is scalding hot, and I'm literally shaking as I tell you this. A prison doctor has been spilling some absolutely shocking details about Diddy potentially catching a deadly disease while locked up. And when I tell you the details are jaw-dropping, I mean jaw-dropping. Picture this. A man who once lived in the lap of luxury, throwing the most extravagant parties in his $40 million mansion and living his absolute best life, is now facing some seriously grim realities. The contrast is giving me whiplash, and when I tell you what's really going down behind those prison walls, just wait until you hear this. Here's the piping hot tea, honey, and you might want to sit down for this one. People are saying Diddy's losing weight like crazy, and trust me, it's not just because of that awful prison food. Though Lord knows that's bad enough. Word on the street, and I mean from some very reliable sources, is that he's battling some serious health issues, including, and this is where it gets really juicy, rumors about an acute STD. Now, we all know Diddy's been cooling his heels in jail for months, waiting for his big trial in May 2025. But the drama inside? It's messier than a toddler eating spaghetti. Remember all those wild stories about his lifestyle? Well, apparently old habits die harder than a Nokia phone, because rumor has it, he's got himself a little crew of male fans in jail. And honey, these relationships are way more intimate than just helping him make his bed, if you catch my drift. With protection being harder to come by than a genuine friend in Hollywood, whispers are circulating that Diddy might have caught something serious behind bars. And honestly, given everything we know about how he's been trying to keep his, let's say, social calendar active in prison, it's not exactly shocking. The tea is scorching on this one. But let me tell you about his living conditions, because child, it will make your skin crawl. Since his arrest on September 16th, 2024, Diddy's been stuck in the special housing unit, and it's giving very much medieval dungeon vibes. He's sleeping on a cold concrete floor with nothing but a thin mattress that's probably older than some of his hit songs. His tiny 8x10 cell doesn't even have basic necessities. We're talking no pillow, no proper bedding, nothing. It's a far cry from those silk sheets he used to sleep on.
Well, I got an inside source there at MDC, and if they knew who it was, they'd really plots. When people go into custody, they have anxiety, they're depressed, a lot of things go through their mind. And one of the things they do is they stop eating. Look what happened to Jeff Epstein. I got people every day saying, you think they're going to Epstein him? And I go, well, I really don't know. Imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to actually poison his food, give him a heart attack, and he dies. And no one would really think anything of it. So that may be one of the reasons he's not eating. There's a possibility that he wants to go on a kosher diet. It's prepared a little bit differently. It's a religious diet.
Now, let me spill more tea about this mess, because it gets even wilder. Even Diddy's own lawyer, yes, his lawyer, had to speak up about MDC, and what he said will make your jaw drop. He straight up admitted it's a nightmare in there. But honey, it's not just about those cramped cells. The whole place is a hot mess express. I mean, we're talking about the same facility that housed R. Kelly and Ghislaine Maxwell. The drama just writes itself, doesn't it? The conditions are so bad, there are actual rats running around like they own the place. And get this, Diddy's so paranoid about his food being tampered with, he's barely eating. Talk about a forced diet plan. But wait, because it gets even juicier. The prosecutors are now accusing Diddy of trying to pull strings from behind bars. The audacity of this man. They're saying he's orchestrating these social media campaigns to sway public opinion and possibly mess with witnesses. Girl, the nerve of it all. These allegations are making it impossible for him to argue for bail because the authorities think he'd be a bigger threat to society than a shopaholic with an unlimited credit card. And speaking of spilling tea, let me tell you about Miss Jaguar Wright. Oh, my word. This woman has been going off on Diddy like it's her full-time job. She's been dragging him and Jay-Z through the mud for years, claiming they've been up to all sorts of shady business that everyone just conveniently ignored until now. The way she tells it, they're about as innocent as a fox in a henhouse. Remember that explosive interview with Piers Morgan? Honey, she didn't just call them out. She called them monsters. She demanded Jay-Z take responsibility for Diddy's arrest. And when I tell you she didn't hold back, the tea she spilled about their alleged predatory behavior in the music industry was hot enough to burn your tongue. And get this, Jaguar claims she's got receipts from hundreds of people who've suffered at their hands. She's even suggesting there could be thousands of victims connected to them. The numbers she's throwing around are bigger than my dream wedding budget. But hold on to your wigs, because that's not even the biggest bombshell. Jaguar recently dropped an absolute nuclear bomb, claiming Diddy is secretly living with HIV. She says he's been dealing with this on the down low and hinted that other industry bigwigs might be in the same boat. She claims to know at least 20 men who are allegedly HIV positive, but she's keeping those names under wraps for now, promising to reveal more on her upcoming show. Talk about holding on to the receipts. But Miss Jaguar wasn't done. She came for Beyonce and Jay-Z too, calling them out for allegedly turning a blind eye to all the mess happening in their circle. She called them a vile couple. I mean, the shade of it all. It's like she's throwing more shade than a solar eclipse. Now, whether Jaguar's spilling facts or just stirring the pot, only time will tell. But what we do know is that Diddy is acting strange in jail. He's having full-on tantrums and refusing to leave his cell. He won't even come out to accept court papers. Can you believe? Some think it's because of his health. You know, if those HIV rumors are true, he might be struggling physically and trying to keep it under wraps. But others think he's just paranoid. And speaking of paranoia, get this. He's so scared of being poisoned, he's skipping meals. I mean, given all the accusations about him allegedly poisoning others, I guess what goes around comes around, right? The irony is thicker than a bowl of cold oatmeal. Let's talk about the others who've been in Diddy's shoes, because this is where it gets really interesting. R. Kelly is locked up in North Carolina, serving 30 years for some seriously dark stuff. They added another 20 years for more charges, but they're running them together. Small mercies, I guess. His life in prison sounds absolutely brutal. Barely any privileges, constant isolation. His lawyers are saying inmates have shorter life expectancies because it's just so draining. It's giving very much reality check vibes. And then there's Ghislaine Maxwell, doing 20 years in Florida for her connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Talk about drama. They even put her on suicide watch. Her lawyers were like, this isn't necessary. But clearly, someone thought otherwise. The media attention on her case has been absolutely relentless.
Simultaneously, with a 30-year sentence for hearing, and the judge ordered Kelly to serve 1 year in prison following hearing sentence.
I was sure he was going to appeal, and I was sure that he was covered under the non-prosecution agreement.
Looking at what happened to R. Kelly and Maxwell really puts Diddy's situation in perspective. They're both dealing with these never-ending legal battles and harsh sentences, which could totally be Diddy's future if he's convicted. And girl, the conditions they're facing have completely wreaked havoc on their health. Imagine what it's doing to Diddy, especially with all these rumors about his health issues. The media attention is just relentless. Kelly and Maxwell have been dragged through the headlines nonstop, and Diddy's getting it even worse. That kind of spotlight doesn't just disappear when you're behind bars. It follows you like a bad ex who still has your Netflix password. Being cut off from friends and family, that's hitting them all hard. Kelly and Maxwell have been feeling that isolation, and you know Diddy's probably going through it too. It's giving from riches to rags realness. The transition from private jets to prison cells is enough to give anyone emotional whiplash. Let's talk about Diddy's empire, because honey, it is crumbling faster than a sandcastle in a hurricane. This man was on top of the world, running the music game and making bank from his record label and that massive Ciroc vodka deal. We're talking $740 million net worth occur. But ever since those allegations started dropping in late 2023, everything's been falling apart faster than a cheap weave in a rainstorm. That Ciroc partnership was his golden ticket. We're talking nearly $1 billion over 15 years. But after the lawsuits hit, Diageo said, bye-bye, faster than a contestant on a dating show. He tried to save face by selling his stake in DeLeon Tequila for $200 million. But get this, he got absolutely nothing for Ciroc, despite all the work he put in. The shade of it all. He even had to step back from Revolt TV. Talk about a fall from grace. And these legal bills, child, they are eating up his coins like Pac-Man on steroids. The lawsuits keep piling up faster than dirty laundry, and hiring those fancy lawyers isn't cheap. With that big trial coming up in May 2025, people are whispering about bankruptcy. Can you believe? From boss to broke, it's giving very much how the mighty have fallen. His reputation? In the gutter. Brands are running away faster than me when I see my ex at Whole Foods. Even if he wanted to make a comeback, it would be harder than trying to fold a fitted sheet. The public has turned on him so hard, it's like he never even had their support to begin with.
Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
But honey, let me tell you about this latest drama with Courtney Burgess, because this tea is scalding. A few months back, Courtney came out here spilling some wild tea about Diddy. He was going on and on about these alleged tapes that supposedly show Diddy doing all kinds of illegal stuff, including some seriously disturbing allegations involving minors. The accusations had everyone clutching their pearls, especially since Diddy's already drowning in lawsuits and criminal charges. Here's where it gets extra messy. In November 2024, Burgess went on these interviews claiming that Diddy's late ex, Kim Porter, handed him these explicit recordings before she passed. He's saying he's got flash drives with at least 8 videos of Diddy in compromising situations, and yes, some allegedly involve minors. When this hit the media, it was like throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. But Diddy wasn't about to take this lying down. He clapped back with a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Burgess, his lawyer Ariel Mitchell, and News Nation, the network that aired all this tea. Diddy's legal team is calling it all fake news, saying it's just a desperate attempt to drag his name through the mud. They're arguing these claims are messing with his reputation worse than a bad hair day in humidity. Looking ahead to his big trial in May 2025, Diddy's whole defense strategy is giving very much, they're just after my coins. His team is planning to paint these accusers as money-hungry opportunists who are thirstier than a camel in the desert. But that's not even the gag. Diddy's out here playing the victim card, saying the government is targeting powerful people like him. It's giving very much me against the world energy. And honey, I don't know if that's going to work out for him. This isn't just a legal battle for Diddy, it's a full-on PR war. By calling out these so-called agendas and painting himself as a victim of the system, he's trying to get the public back on his side like he's running for comeback king of the year. Whether this strategy is genuine or just calculated moves, one thing's clear. He's working harder than a personal trainer in January to rally support. Whether this $50 million lawsuit helps clean up his image or just adds more drama to the pile, only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Diddy's not going down without throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at his accusers. The question is, will all these moves help him save face, or is he just digging himself into an even deeper hole? So spill the tea in the comments. Do you think Diddy's bizarre behavior is because of health issues, or is he just trying to dodge responsibility? And what about Jaguar rights claims? Are we finally seeing the truth come to light, or is this just another chapter in the never-ending Hollywood drama? Let me know your thoughts down below.